Hi, this is Gene. I'm the host today of Author Interviews, and I'm honored to be here with Tyler Woods, author of Losing Someone to Suicide.
Gene, good to see you.
I'm glad you're here. Tyler, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up?
Well, Gene, I was born and raised right here in Tucson, Arizona, and lived on a ranch for about 14 years. And it's funny that I've returned to ranch living as I live on a ranch now, and I raise chickens and goats.
And you used to be a musician? What kind of music?
I did rock and blues, and I played music for about 25 years for a living. Yep.
That's great. But now, it seems to be your focus is on mental health and suicide. What brought about that transformation?
I think a lot of things brought that transformation about, including my own recovery, being on stage, and getting into drugs and everything. I got into sobriety, and part of my sobriety, I decided I wanted to get out and help people. And what I noticed was suicide had a really high rate. But while I was in school, in college, my internship led me to a clinic where they did survivors of suicide. And a gentleman couldn't make it one day, and he said, would you facilitate this group just one time? And 16 years have gone by, and here I am still. Not only do I facilitate it, but I turned it into a nonprofit, and we do quite a bit of things with it.
Now, I understand that suicide has touched you personally. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Well, I've encountered a great deal of loss from suicide, from everything from a grandparent to I've had a good friend one day call me, and she was sounding okay. In fact, she sounded better than she ever had before. And as we were talking, she was getting groggier and groggier. I asked her if everything was okay, and she claimed it was her new medicine. In my mind, I didn't think she was doing what she really did do, and she suicided on the telephone with me.
That sounds like the most awful thing ever.
It was rather tragic, and I was angry, and I had to do my own work and my own process around it. And I was still running the support group for survivors of suicide, so I felt like I was doing a dual role of being the facilitator, yet I was a brand new survivor.
Would you mind reading an excerpt of your book now for our listeners?
I would love to. Thanks for asking. The thing that I like to read is why I wrote this book. And there's a lot of reasons why I wrote it. And on my blog and newsletters, it explains why it's written the way it is. But I'm going to take a part from a letter from the author. I was sitting with a woman who lost her son to suicide. She seemed a bit sedated, and I could tell she was on medication. She was feeling out of control with her grief, so she went to a clinic to get some counseling for her loss. When she told the counselor that she was grief-stricken over the loss of her son to suicide, the counselor asked her, how long ago was it? And the mother said it had been 3 months. And the counselor looked at the mother and said, you're not over this yet. I realize many professionals do not have the ability to sit with people who have lost people to suicide. I realized the second I heard this story that many professionals have no idea how to deal with people who've lost a loved one. When I was in college for counseling, never did we talk about suicide, let alone how to work with someone who lost someone to suicide. And I didn't realize how broad the taboo of this topic was. But the aftermath, which we call suicide postvention, we pay very little attention to. And we have to remember that when someone suicides, a family member is 5 times more likely to take their own lives.
So suicide postvention is almost a form of prevention.
Suicide postvention is prevention for the next generation.
Well, Tyler, I want to thank you for being on Author Interviews today. Her book is Losing Someone to Suicide.
Gene, it's great seeing you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.